Welcome to the Laugh Support Podcast, brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network. I'm your host, June Colson, here with my fellow host, Michele VanDusen. What is Laugh Support? Why, thanks for asking. It's a couple of clean comedians offering a supportive and positive environment for the comedy community. We talk about our highs and our lows and some traumatizing shows. So if you're ready, get set, let's go. Now, Michele, tell our listeners who's on the show.
Oh, tonight we have some amazing guests. It's us.
It's you. It's me. It's we. We. Yes, it is. It's us, Michele.
Oh, call back to yours.
We're calling back to my wee joke. We. That's right. Okay, so this is, what are we on? Episode 107? 10?
No, you won't believe it. We are at episode 9.
9. We made it, and they said we couldn't do it.
Yeah, they were right.
Because that was us. We're like, no, I don't think we can do this.
Yeah. It's but we're doing it. We're doing it. We're talking. We're speaking into the microphones, these large global things.
Yes.
And we're attempting at editing. We are attempting at, like, I can do I can now do this.
Whoa. Okay, you just switched me from the left to the right.
Yeah,
and the right. Actually, I think it was the opposite. I think I was, never mind. Right. I don't know. But so we have had some challenges, to say the least. Yes.
Yes.
Because as we said in the very beginning, neither one of us we're not audio technicians. We've never done a podcast before. What has surprised you the most about, like, when we started this process? What has surprised you the most?
How so many people are actually really excited for us, and I'm actually really pleased about who wants to come and be our guests. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
And one person even said, when I was describing the show a little bit to them, they're like, "Oh, I would totally listen to that." I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So we have value, and I love that. I love, now if we can just get the technical stuff so people can look past that or listen past that.
Yes.
It'll be good. Like, I know that we started out first with the ukulele song.
What's wrong with the ukulele?
Nothing. I have one and I enjoy it very much.
Yes.
But some of the feedback was like, we don't like that.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to put it in right. Like, I don't know how to edit it in.
Yeah.
So there's, anyway, if anyone's listening and they want to write us a song and want to capture and enhance our show, please send it in.
Let's do it.
Contact us. Look, we have an email.
Yes. It's the laugh SUP at gmail.com. So it's short for support, because we discovered that was one of the surprises, is because it's laugh support. Apparently a lot of these platforms and Gmail and YouTube and different things, they are very selective about allowing the word support to be in anybody's title, right? Yeah. So you did the laugh sup.
Yeah, so it looks like the laughs up.
It's or just the laughs up, yes.
Yeah. But the laughs up, I think that's a little cooler, little street term. But I didn't try adding podcast to it, and I think maybe if I would have done that, but then that's a really long name, and I was really trying to get it where it's going to be short, and it didn't.
I like the laughs up. It's all right. The laughs up. It's up. Yeah. It's over. It's up. It's up. So that was complicated, and so you took care of all that.
I tried, but that's our email. So if anybody wants to send in ideas or, again, a song, it'd be great. It'd be great.
Yes. Or questions.
We could even get, like, new mics. I don't mind sponsor, having a sponsor that has an excellent mic quality, and even, like, fancy headphones. Like, we're up for that. I'm welcoming anything. You come on, let's make a deal.
Well, yeah, I think that was, well, it wasn't surprising to me that the technology was going to be difficult, because all technology is difficult to me. There's just people's brains that are wired for that. And it's so intimidating to me. And even when we began, we were doing this on Zoom and twice I had to send you the Zoom file. And one day it took me all day long. And just a normal human being would be able to figure that out in just a few steps, and my husband's great to help me out with certain things like that, but his schedule is insane right now. And so for me, probably the difficulty was, one, just so many things going on in my life right now, because I have a teenage son, and he's an athlete, and there's sports schedules, and I'm doing this Facebook Live thing every Wednesday and trying to finish a book. And so my concern going into this was, that I wouldn't be there for you. I wouldn't be able to help. And that's kind of what's happened. You're carrying the load. What did I say that's so goofy? I always say something.
Okay. When you said
Okay, Michele, go ahead. I can't wait. I'm getting that one finger, and I'm nowhere close to you. If you fall over or have a stroke right now, I can't help you. I've lost my phone. My phone charger won't work. This thing will air long after you're dead.
When you said, just keep talking.
This is why so I took one improv class, and this was me. Your behavior is my behavior. I would be thinking about the funny thing, and I'm done. I'm crying. I'm laughing. I'm finished. I could never, I would be the worst improv partner ever. And I don't laugh. I don't know about you, but I don't laugh at comedians.
I love laughing at comedians. It's fantastic. That's why my friends are only comedians, so I can laugh at you. That's not true. I laugh because you're funny.
Yes.
No, so you what you said, teenager, blah blah blah, and I'm trying to finish a book, and all I thought was pick an
easy reader tune. See Dick run.
Wow.
Dick and Jane. I just thought that might set you over the edge. Ladies and gentlemen,
said that on our
Michele
podcast.
VanDusen, this is a clean podcast, and I'm not responsible for your mind going into the gutter on that book. It's a real book. Google it.
I don't know how to edit that out now. Do you not understand?
It's not gonna come out. It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
I don't know how to bleep that. I'm gonna have to bleep you. You now owe $20 to the swear jar.
It's not a swear word. My grandfather's name was Dick.
Richard.
And we called him Papa Dicky. That was his name.
Richard.
His name was Richard, but his name was Papa Dicky. So shame on you, Michele VanDusen. Shame on you. If anybody was going to go low, the low hanging fruit.
Because I'm short?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
I think that our audience would way expect it more from me than you, Michele. But that's
true.
Okay. But no, seriously, I don't laugh at comedians. I laugh. Okay, so when my friends are on stage and it's a clear punchline and it's funny, I will laugh, and not like a fake laugh, but I'll laugh.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't laugh at a whole lot of comedians or comedy. And I think it's, I feel like it's almost like a magician, right? That's watching another magician. And you're watching that sleight of hand. You're watching the tricks that they're doing. You're watching the moves that they make. And I watch it with interest and respect. So I'm not always thinking about, I'm laughing, because I'm really into what the person's doing and the craft of it all. Yeah. And I've noticed some comedians are like me. They don't just laugh out loud.
99% of comedians are like you. They're not you. Yeah. They're not an audience member. They're not.
Can you prove that statistic, Michele? Is it? Or are you sure it's not 98?
Yes, I can. Because 78% of stats are made up right on the spot. Oh, so I can totally prove it.
Yes. So so you think more people, more comedians are like me when it comes to just not laughing at other people?
Yeah, because comedians are not a real audience. Comedians go in to listen how the craft is done, how do they how do they tag that joke? How do they add to this? So they're going in listening for that kind of stuff, but they're not actually going in to listen, to laugh, to enjoy
Yeah.
a show. They
Yeah.
didn't come in to pay for a show. You go in there and basically you're an employee at the time that you're there. Whereas, that 1%, me,
Yes.
I love going not only because I want to hear the craft and things like that, but if they actually write well and then they just get that hook, and
Yeah.
I will legit laugh. I mean,
Yeah.
because if it's funny and it deserves to be laughed at.
Yeah.
And it just makes you healthier. I mean, that's really the only time I actually work out. So it's very important that
Yes.
you best be funny.
Well, and
So
it's not that I'm not trying to laugh, and I don't sit there like the audience member with the arms crossed and I'm not laughing, but
yeah.
I have to intentionally laugh. I really do. I have to intentionally go, okay, like laugh at that. Yeah, I heard it. It's really funny, but I'm like thinking about why it's funny and
Mhm.
impressed with how the person put it together,
Yeah.
and I will laugh.
Yeah.
But it's rare that like the laugh is super spontaneous and I just like I completely couldn't help it because it was so funny. I couldn't, not laugh, kind of like you just a minute ago. But we've
Yeah.
done these.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
so a minute ago, because I just started giggling, it just tickled me thinking, oh, this is funny if it went this direction. But I also listen to comedians when they're up there performing. I I always bring a pen and a notepad, not to steal their joke. That's not that at all. It's because if I think of a tag that I think would be funny, then I'll talk to them afterwards. I'm like, hey, I think this would be a great tag
You
on.
bring a notepad and a pen, grandma. You can't just type. Well, I guess maybe I guess they lock up our phones now. So you can't do that. I just imagine you sitting there with like little glasses on and having your little notebook and doing your crossword puzzles. And right there it is. There's the
Oh God.
glasses.
Oh, God.
And like
And
like my mom in church. Like my mom in church, she had her little notepad and the preacher was
mhm.
talking and she was doing the notes. I
Oh yeah,
just see you at a comedy club, like,
I still do notes at church.
and has anyone ever like approached you about that and said
No,
why are you
no.
taking notes at
I
a comedy club?
I did have like one or two comics out of the umpteen years I've been going to clubs and doing this. I've only had like one or two that are like, oh, that's nice. Like just snubbed. I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah,
okay, not a problem.
yeah,
That is now officially my tag or my joke. Like I can take what, because I was writing it inspired by what they said. But typically, if I hear something I'll write it and it's yours. If I give
yeah,
you a note, that's yours. It's not mine.
yeah,
But there's been a couple. I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know,
yeah.
it's not a problem. Anyway, but that's
Yeah,
neither
no, I think
here
that's
nor
really cool.
there.
I think, and no, you're just amazing like that. But speaking of laugh support, I mean, you've always been a very supportive person to other comedians, and so that doesn't surprise me. I'm just teasing you about having the notebook and the grandma situation. But
The
so
teacher in me comes out.
yeah, yeah. No, I've definitely done that before where if it's friends. Now, I've never done that to a comedian I didn't know. But you know me, I'm very like, I'm not gonna bother anybody. I'm just gonna, and you're Michele VanDusen. That's how you made this is why you have so many friends, because everyone's approachable to you. You'll just, kind of
Yeah,
go and share. And I
yeah.
think that's
People are
amazing.
people, and if you have something that you can add value to them, if you can encourage them or inspire them, um, because even if a comedian had a bad time up there, let's say, open mic or whatever, and it was like, oh, that did not go well. Even if you just walk up and say, man, I really like this joke, even that little bit of a compliment can help the comic process through a horrible show a whole lot faster. Like, okay, well, this was good. I can build on this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Going to open mics is fun. You'll hear a lot of things that, oh, my mama never taught me. A lot of things. Um, but you'll find those gems. You can find
Yeah.
those, and those are the ones we have. Like the graduation shows. It's so great to go to a graduation show of people that have been doing, like started taking some comedy lessons, and then you go to the graduation show to see what
Oh,
they've
yeah,
come up
yeah.
with.
Yeah.
And it's really nice because they're
But it's
still
fun.
learning. Yeah, and they want input and they want, so, we have one
Okay.
fella.
I
Yeah.
don't mean to interrupt, but I think it's not gonna be good, audio here in a minute when I straight up start screaming at my 17-year-old. Like, "I love Jesus. This is Junebug." "Trey! Mommy's doing a podcast. I asked you 40 minutes ago to put up the dog." He's standing in the hall with 2 dogs that he's supposed to have locked up right now for me. He's gone up and down the steps like 9 times.
I
Speaking
can't hear
of,
it.
the difficulties with the podcast is,
Yeah, yeah.
we have families and we have lives and we have dogs, and I have like notes on my front door that's like, do not, don't ring the bell, and but still it's like something's gonna go crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I think he just slammed the door.
'Cause you were yelling at him. That's
Yes.
why.
He's so sensitive. No, he's not. He's my whatever, mom, moving on with my life. What are you
Whatever,
doing? This little podcasty
whatever.
thing for you? No, like, yeah, he's just like, if it's not Joe Rogan, I ain't listening. Like, okay, whatever. Rock on, kid. But so we've done these episodes. We've done some interviews. Those have
Mhm.
been really fun. But
Yes.
it was a learning curve at first because it's a little different than you and I talking to each other, because
Yeah.
we're trying to not step on each other in this type of platform. It's kind of difficult because one person speaks and the mics step on each other, and you're waiting, and then there's an awkward silence, and so
No,
just
you go.
learning. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, you go. No,
No, what? Oh, wait,
go
no.
ahead.
Okay,
Oh,
what? So I think by like, fortunately, Joel Byers being our first interview, the inspiration for the
woohoo!
podcast from the Hot Breath Comedy Network, um,
That's right.
it
Joel
was
Byers.
good. It was really good to be able to interview him first, don't you think? To have that, like, our very first guest be somebody
Mhm.
who totally gets the learning curve that we're trying, that if things went awry, he was not gonna be somebody who went, "Oh my gosh, they're so unprofessional and they have no idea what they're doing," and like trash talk it. No, he may have, but it would be all with love and positivity. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we've probably inspired him to start looking for more people to do podcasts.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, good lord, where are they going with this?"
We're the guinea
I love
pigs.
at one point, he's like, "It's your podcast. Do what you want." "Okay. Okay, Joel, challenge accepted. We're doing
Yeah.
it."
Yeah. Whatever it happens to be, that's what we're doing. And
Yeah.
then we've been able to interview one of our, dearest friends, Rhonda Corey, and
Oh,
so that was
Rhonda.
super fun to have her on, and then our friend Dory, and kinda listen to, uh, the laugh support kind of, interpretation that they've had, but I wondered, as far as, like, shows and things like that go,
Mhm.
when it comes to laugh support, I was thinking about, we've talked before about the health benefits of laughter, eh, and I wondered if you recall any show in particular or an event where you went, "Oh, okay, this," because sometimes because it's comedy and we're
Mhm.
laughing, um, g comedy is no joke. It's a serious thing, you know what I mean?
I
It
take my
take
comedy seriously
Exactly, exactly. So it can be trivialized, and
all
what
the
I think that
time.
people who don't understand comedy, they don't understand literally the effect that it can have on people's lives.
I'm gonna bring us big again.
Yes, let's be big again. Michelle wants
Yeah.
me to lower my chair so I'm tinier than her.
No, no, I said bring it up, bring it up. We have to be even.
There you go, even
Well,
Stevens. But yeah, tell me, have you ever had a show where you left and went, "Okay, this was for a greater purpose. This made a difference in someone's life today."
no. Okay, I know that we talked about this a little bit, but you're gonna have to remind me, which one was I talking about? The girls' night out?
You talked about girls' night out. Yes. You talked
Was
about
that
also, like, just having some events that you've done that were fundraisers that, you knew, like, what you had worked on had now raised money for a good cause or a specific group that needed help.
Yeah, and if you remember, I don't recall the details. I just know that through different time frames, I know that I've done a lot of different shows across the country, really.
Yeah.
One was Operation Laughs. Operation Laughs, that's the name of it. That was with Dennis Tooley and Steve Riviera, which, hopefully we can chat about that when we get Steve on as a
Yes.
guest.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited he said yes. Yay!
Yeah.
So like that one, and then I've done some shows here in town. I mentioned at the beginning a couple episodes ago about Blue Skies. That was a fundraiser. But the girls' night out was at a local church here, and it was the best time. I mean, it was so much fun. And then there was a couple shows at the comedy club. I think it was like for the Boys and Girls Club or
Mhm.
Big Sisters, Big Brothers kind of a
Yeah.
thing. Big Brothers, I think is what it's called. And when they asked if I would, a comic in the lineup canceled or couldn't make it or something. So like I got the call at the last minute and I'm like, yeah, I can be. They're like, no pay. I'm like, what group is this for? And I thought, yeah, I can do it. So I ran over there and did it, which I thought was great that I was able to just jump into that lineup
Yeah.
and help out. But that
Yeah.
was a really cool one because it was a motorcycle gang. I say gang. It was a motorcycle club. Uh,
Yes. Yes. They had
motorcycle
Huffies.
club.
They were a bunch of like they had little bicycles, but they
Yeah, yeah.
considered it
Ding, 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 ding,
motorcycles.
ding. Uh,
So
a little
yes, there's
orange
this
flag.
motorcycle gang. You perform for the Hells Angels. Keep going.
Heaven's Angels.
Yes.
Yeah, so like that was really cool. And I know like afterwards, that people talk to you and things like that. And this happened. One of the amputees, he's like, "Would you sign my leg?" I'm like, "What?" It was a wooden leg,
Yes.
or whatever it's made of.
Nice.
Yeah. So as like how awkward.
Listen, that reminds me. So
I have a Sharpie. Let's do it.
one of my first jobs was actually working at a swimming pool, and there was a guy with a prosthetic leg, and
That's the word.
he would, yes, prosthetic leg. He would come. So you would have to they'd have to stamp your hand or whatever if
Mhm.
you left and came back. And he
Yeah.
had like a cane that he walked with, but he would like come to swim, and he would pull off his leg, and he would leave it with me. And he'd be
Oh,
like, I don't want that stupid stamp on my hand. If you can't remember me, just keep my leg. And so he would leave me his leg every time he went swimming. It was amazing. I was like 15 and like my very first job. And I'm like, am I allowed to keep people's legs at the desk up here? Like, I don't know if this is okay.
oh no, now there's too many arms and legs. Who had the right hand? Who was
Yes, yes. No, was that your first autograph? Was that the first time someone asked you to autograph something?
No. I've had students ask before, because I
Yes.
ran the after school comedy club. So I've had, kids like that. But this was the first adult and that it was a body part. Like
Yes.
that was just
Listen, there could have been much worse body parts for an adult to ask you to sign in a comedy club. I think you got off pretty well right there. It's just
yeah.
signing a prosthetic limb. I
And like
don't
my
know.
buddies
That's
are like,
awesome.
"You're gonna do that? Really? You did that? Oh my what?" I'm like, it was really cool. So
How do you say no? I don't know. That's
yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And like, well, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. Let's move on. Let's move on, Michelle, from the prosthetic limbs to, we've just got a little bit of time left. I was thinking about, here's the laugh support. Oh, Michelle. Oh,
All
little
I'm
Michelle.
saying is life experiences can either get you down or can bring you up.
Yes.
You know, uh, who said the famous quote about everything's funny in time? There's, some famous comedian, I can't think of his name.
Oh,
Old
I
school,
thought
old
maybe a
school.
clockmaker, like you thought I knew like some famous clockmaker. I don't know.
Miss Timex.
I don't know. Don't ever
No.
ask me who said. I don't know. I have no idea who said anything
Well,
or that people's names I don't remember.
I'm
And
gonna put us here so then
yes.
when I go back, I can put it at the bottom. I'll put the real quote down at the bottom.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be
That way
awesome.
I have space
Well,
You
we got about 5 minutes left, and it was just
Mhm.
before we came on and started officially recording, and we were having a conversation. You were talking about a show, and I remember hearing you tell this story before, and I think it's a great, especially for somebody just starting out or just a reminder for people who maybe have been doing comedy for a little while. So tell me again about um, being on stage, and you were sharing about kind of having a back and forth conversation with a person in the audience.
Okay, alright, so my mom was in the audience. No, not that one.
Yeah, no,
Not
I was
that
like,
one.
"What are you doing here, mom?" And she's like, "I told you, Michelle, you're not funny. Get off the stage." No,
Then I woke up.
yes,
Um, okay, so I did, the girls' night out at the Battle Creek Church, and part of the show, because that show was supposed to be an hour long, and, I had another comedian come and do about 10 minutes, and then I had my section. But there's a part of the show that I always like to talk to the audience and find out, who they are. They've been listening to me, so let's find out about you guys. And so, asking different people different things. And this one lady, I'm like, well, what's your name? What do you do? Kind of a thing. And she said something about diet, about like not being like a diet pro, but helping other people with their diets. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I started, since I'm kind of a wider, larger lady, I started going across the stage backwards, just keeping my eye on her, watching her as I'm going. I go off the stage and I stand behind this column and I'm like, can she see me? And then of course
yes,
that whole place breaks up. But then the table right near the column was a lady, and I started talking to her as I was making my way back up the steps. And she said that she was a director at a nursing home or a retirement center. And then I called back one of my jokes at the beginning because I do this whole pre-dead stuff, pre-diabetic, anyway. So I said, "Oh, so you direct the pre-dead people?" Well, that
yes,
just the whole place erupted in laughter, and then and then I said, "How does that work? How are you directing them? Like, all right, all the pre-dead people this way, this way, this way. We're gonna go check out some coffins. Let's go test it out. You go ahead, lay down in that. Is that soft? Do you like it? Oh, you want satin? Oh, white's not your color. Oh, you want red? Red satin. Okay, all right. And like, okay, this way, this way. Pick out your urns. We have a lovely wall over here.
yes.
So we just did a whole thing off of just off the cuff about pre-dead stuff. So from there, then the next day, that lady, she actually contacted me and then hired me to do comedy at the retirement center.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Wow,
so
with
it
the
was like
pre-med people, that's amazing. But so when you were telling me about that, I was thinking about, just that ability to go back and forth with the audience. Like, I don't do a whole lot of crowd work because I haven't been doing comedy long enough to be super comfortable with that,
yeah, and you
but
don't
I
take a breath. Like, you
yes,
talk. No.
yes, I do, I do, I do. This is what I do. But I think that, a lot of comedy is listening. In
What?
those moments exactly, huh? What'd you say? What? What?
What?
But
What?
it's
What?
that listening, it's being able to listen, when you're doing crowd work and things like that, you were listening, you found something humorous about the person's job, you were over dramatic about it as you backed away and hid from the dietitian,
Oh,
right?
man.
But what I think it does, Robert G. Lee, I've got to watch him a few times, and like he warms up. He does
Mhm.
those as the live in front of a studio audience. Like he keeps
Yeah.
audiences going and energized for hours, and he's the just a pro at this,
Mhm.
crowd work. But what I
Yeah.
found after doing a few shows with him is that makes people love him even more because he's not the comedian that if you're sitting in the front row, you're being picked on, humiliated, and at the cost of, that person having a good time.
Yeah.
Those people that he interacts with, the way you interacted with that woman,
Mhm.
made them feel a part of something. It was
Yeah.
organic. It was a real moment that everybody felt like they were all in on this moment, and then you were able to use it to call back to something else, and
Mhm.
just listening, being somebody on stage when you're doing that kind of work, to listen, and then you've not just done comedy, you literally have given them an experience. They didn't just listen, they participated and they
Yeah.
were part of the show. And you see people after the shows that other people in the audience are like, ha ha, oh, dietitian, da, 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 she was hiding from you. So
Yeah.
now they feel a little bit of a celebrity because people are now looking at them like, oh, they were part of the show. And
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing that comedy can do. It's just a different, you don't get that in a movie. You don't get that
Mm-mm.
listening to a concert unless you're the one person that, the the singer pulls up on stage and pretends to sing a song to or whatever.
That
But
would be, Bruce Springsteen, right? Made in
oh
the
yeah,
USA. That
wasn't
was
that
Courtney
what was her
Cox.
what was
The girl
Bruce?
from Friends. It was Monica.
Yeah, but what's her name?
Courtney Cox.
Oh, never mind. I thought you were using foul language again.
No, no, no. That's her name.
Well, we talked about Papeldick and now it's Courtney Cox.
Hey,
And
you
you
brought it
just
back.
I'm
That's another
just saying,
$20.
there's the callback. There's the callback. Well, hey, so next time we chat, I definitely want to talk about not just listening to the audience, but also listening to the other comedians. We'll have to talk
Oh,
about that in a future episode.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely. But I wanna just say before we close out that part of the listening and talking with the audience, one, you don't do that when you have a 5-minute set. You don't do that if you're doing a showcase.
right.
You're part of a show that's not your thing. But if unless you're Jimmy Brogan, I'm just saying. Uh, but it's not just inviting because when you do comedy, you're giving them an opportunity to laugh. You're giving people an opportunity to laugh. And so when you talk with them versus insulting them, you're actually inviting them in to be what you said, a part of the show and having that experience. And it really does change someone's life when they walk out. I mean, just getting an email later or a text later or
Yeah.
having I love that. I love being able to see someone's face of, when they walk in, they're like, ugh. And then they're like, by the time they're
Yes.
done, and then they're laughing. It's just
Yeah.
fun. So inviting people in, being their support, because really, as a comic, that's your job. You're the audience's laugh support.
Yeah.
So I just wanted
Yeah.
to throw that back in there.
There
Just
it is.
wrap it around.
There it is, Michele. Well, here we go. Here we go. We've wrapped up another amazing, life-changing, earthquaking, fantastic. I mean, the world's changing one
Yeah,
episode at a time of
that's
laugh
right.
support.
You're
That's what I'm
welcome.
saying. Well, listen, folks, we appreciate everybody listening. Please, what do? They like, subscribe, they
Follow, share,
follow. like it is
share.
weird when they follow us in their car. That's odd, but
Yeah. Have you ever had it? Oh, wait, that's for another show.
we'll
That's
talk
another
about
show.
my stalker later. I had a really cool Italian stalker. Yeah, he was great. But yeah, I mean we've been married for 25 years now,
Oh,
so it worked. I'm just saying it. No, it's not true. I didn't marry my stalker. All right. Well, listen, folks, I was
he married
closing out
Biz.
with what I like to say, right? But Michele, are you gonna say what I want you to say?
Junebug and Jesus loves you.
So you said my line, which is we'll talk about that on a later episode. Comedians, we don't take each other's line, but okay, since you said June, Jesus and Junebug loves you, then I'll say, "Hello, Michele and the Messiah, tell you to take it higher." That's it for this episode of
Thanks
Lap
for listening.
Support.
Oh, I gotta hit end broadcast.
Do it. End it. Let's
See,
just end it
this is
all.
one of the
We're
issues.
done.